Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some kind of scary news where PlayStation itself and Sony might be in a little bit of trouble. Now, as you guys may or may not know, there's been some pretty good news, such as the PlayStation 5 Slim just coming out. Sales targets actually doing phenomenally well and doing very good. But one big thing is that Sony actually has been having a little bit of a profit drop off. And this actually might be a huge concerning thing when it comes to both Sony, the PlayStation, the gaming ecosystem as a whole. So we're going to go talk about this kind of big drama over here and kind of discuss the ongoing stockholder meetings that came out with a lot of big information when it comes to PlayStation. So if you guys will sit back, relax, and enjoy. As well, if you guys are brand new, make sure you guys are subscribed, notifications on. We have all the how links down below, which are a bunch of Best Buy links for the brand new Google smartwatches. Very cool. I think some of you guys have actually picked them on up, so thank you guys for that. And as well, also a bunch of cool video games to check out. All linked down below. That does support the channel. Hashtag ad for the holidays. And as well, we do want to maybe do like a fun little giveaway for you guys at some point for that, whenever this is all done and sorted. And of course, like I said, the Twitter and Twitch room down below. Let's dive on into the video itself. So right, first and foremost, we're seeing that Sony actually has a profit sliding on down. Now, the PlayStation, if you guys do not know, has been a really big component of Sony as a company. Sony as a whole makes a lot of money on the PlayStation gaming division, a lot. Now, but they also make a lot of money too on Sony movies, Sony music, and all of that too. But as well, it's kind of like that big ecosystem. You go and have a chance to go and highlight movies on the actual PlayStation. You have a chance to go highlight music, or as well utilize them all together. You use like Sony music into the games themselves or whatever it might be. But one big thing to go and note over here is that Sony's profits are sliding and on this big chip slump and keeps the PS5 sales targets as of right now. So very intriguing. So either way, PlayStation for this holiday season should be doing fine. Brand new PlayStation 5 Slim, brand new Spider-Man game, which has been selling very well off the first initial impressions. A lot of folks enjoyed it, liked it, big thumbs up for it. And as well, although we don't have any major games coming out and planned up for the 2024, it's still a big thing to note is like if you have all these games like the God of Wars, they're still selling. Ratchet and Clank still selling. Spider-Man still selling. Old Spider-Mans because people are buying the Spider-Man 2 still selling. All this is nice that they're still making good profit. They're still getting hardware sales. And of course, the brand new console refresher where Xbox does not have one, that just basically means that they'll be doing a little bit better. But here's the kind of the high-level summary. The profits at the chips division slumped by 37% as per Reuters, hit by higher expenses and weaker sales than expected. They are still maintaining the PlayStation 5 sales target, though, which is good for the PlayStation ecosystem. And then Sony sold 4.9 million PS5 units in Q2, and Spider-Man 2 has sold now 5 million units, and I'm sure that number is going to go up quite a bit. Same with Modern Warfare 3, because there are bundles for brand new consoles, as well as also the game's only been out for only like a few days or a few weeks, depending on which one we're talking about. So basically, Tokyo, Sony's basically operating profit fell 29% in the July through September quarter as the company was hit by a weaker performance at its image sensor and financial divisions. Profit for the quarter was 263 billion yen, or $1.74 billion, and that was compared with a 306 billion yen estimate from 10 analysts. So basically right now, from the prior results, so basically if you guys don't know, usually in stocks, they'll kind of give you projections of, hey, like we have, let's say your Walmart, we have $1 billion worth of inventory, we're probably going to sell $1 billion worth of stuff on Black Friday, we're preparing for it, the numbers are looking good, analytics are looking good, and then kind of goes and drives the stock price. But sometimes it goes the opposite. It was a very famous case this past few years of Netflix, where Netflix was like, hey guys, we're going to go get this many signups, this many users, etc. And those numbers all fell flat. It was one of the very first times where Netflix had issues and the stock absolutely tanked because a lot of folks were kind of assuming that it's going to be worse than expected. And this is kind of the one case right now for Sony where it actually was worse than on paper and worse than expected. Now, the PlayStation might be doing fine, but don't forget things like chip divisions, like you don't have things like semiconductors, etc. If they're expensive, go up in price, or if you don't have to go and change your actual proper like lineup for the PlayStation 5 Slim, it might lead to big issues as well. But also don't forget too as well that Sony themselves as a general company also do other things such as like TVs or cameras, etc., which also can be affected by semiconductors and internal chips as well. So the Japanese tech conglomerate has shifted from being a creator of iconic household electronics such as the Walkman to an entertainment behemoth straddling games, movies, and music, and is also a leading maker of image sensors. Profits at Sony chips division slumped by 37%, hit by higher expenses and weaker sales of image sensors, which are used in smartphones. The North American market shows a significant year-on-year decline, and at this point, there is no change to our view that a recovery in the market will take place in the next fiscal year. Sony President Hiroki Totoki told the news briefing, which is also now, I believe, the PlayStation president as an interim whenever Jim Ryan leaves. Sony maintained its sales target of 25 million PlayStation 5 consoles, though, which is still nice to go and see as well. So it's not something we can attain very easily, Totoki said in the PS5 target. The conglomerate sold 4.9 million PS5 units in the second quarter, bringing sales to this quarter around 8.2 million as well. And there's also a handheld device that connects the PS5 over Wi-Fi, the PS Plus or PlayStation Portable, coming out very soon. The industry observers were surprised with a recent announcement that gaming chief Jim Ryan will be stepping down, with the developer also cutting cuts too as well by Bungie. And I'm sure a lot of folks on the overall market sentiment are not probably happy to go and see that the sales targets might be a little bit weak. They still are saying they want to sell 25 million targets for their PlayStation consoles. They're only at 8.2 though, although they did just go and sell the brand new Slim. They probably have a good supply on them because a lot of places still have stock with it. And as well, like, it's something new and a refresher and slightly better. So anyone who doesn't have a console yet so far may want it in the first place. So industry observers were surprised by the recent announcement that gaming chief as well was stepping down. So that also adds a lot more negativity when it comes to the stock, because if you don't know who the president's going to be in the future, you can't research them, you don't know like their long-term goals or all that type of stuff. It does make things a lot harder, especially for a company like Sony and PlayStation, because it's like a big deal. Like PlayStation's such a really, really large part of it. So the October 20th release of Marvel's Spider-Man 2 offers cheer going to the key gaming shopping though. As of right now, 5 million units of the game have already been sold. So although it's nice that Sony as a whole is still doing okay, like 5 million units and 25 million consoles isn't bad. Or if you guys have also been seeing too as well, we've been seeing now that PlayStation has sold over 46.6 million consoles too as well, based on all these proper numbers, which is also insane. Like the PlayStation's doing okay, but the two big issues on this one, more the topic of the video, is that over time, like less people are interested. Like if you have the PS5 Slim, sure, but it's not really a big change up. Like if I was just buying a raw console right this second, I would want the Slim. That's like just the end all be all. It's a better console internally, better console SSD, and what is probably the standard in the future. But if someone already has a PlayStation 5 right now, and even some folks over in my Twitch chat, shout out to Blissmon too as well if they're watching this video, is that some folks are like, hey, I already have my PS5, kind of like for me. I'm not going to buy a Slim. I don't need it. I'll buy Spider-Man. Sure, it looks like a fun game, but I don't need a new console. And once again, after a certain point, unless you hit other markets like India, China, Japan, etc., there's going to be a certain point where, guess what? Like no one's going to really buy your console because they already have one. Like that's fine. That's a good problem to have. You just sell software, you sell games. But at the same time, we don't have any big major games up in the the next few months as well. Like I could not tell you the next big major AAA game coming out for it. There's a few that's been teased and some weeb games, sure, but like I couldn't tell you the next Spider-Man, next God of War, because they just haven't mentioned it yet. We haven't seen like a state of play or proper thing so far, which I'm curious to go and see. So basically over here, it's still good though for sales. Spider-Man's doing good, but PlayStation long term can be more in trouble, and they have to sell a lot of consoles to go hit this mark, although they're saying they're not going to not hit it. So also rivals Nintendo had scored a string of hints in recent months as the company continues to draw in gamers, despite eschewing the cutting-edge graphics that Sony and Microsoft have pursued. Sony also hiked its full sales forecast for the games unit by 5% to 190 billion yen, and also maintained its profit forecast, which I'm not really sure how they're going to hit that, because don't forget they just sold Spider-Man. So Spider-Man throughout the holiday season will be nice, yes, don't get me wrong, but what happens after the holiday season for both consoles, the Slim, and also Spider-Man? Now, being a pessimist, I'm just very curious. Like, they might have some cool stuff on their sleeves, which is why they're obviously forecasting a growth. Like, that's good, but at the same time, what is it? Like, we don't know when Wolverine's going to come out. We have a few weeb games that seem cool, but I don't know, like, the next big major first-party game. A lot of live service stuff's been having issues. Destiny also got delayed as well, quite a few different months, and that is also stuff that would go and sell software profits. So that's why I'm kind of curious as well. So they're saying the second quarter profit was supposed to be higher sales of third-party games, but was impacted by an increase in hardware losses. So as well, even though if they're going to be selling more consoles, they are still having more hardware losses, and especially if there's like a big chip issue, where if even their own chip division's having issues, trying to go and sell and buy more stuff might be bigger issues too as well, such as the PlayStation hardware or getting like semiconductor chips to make their new consoles. So Sony's movie division will co-finance and distribute a live-action adaptation, though, of Nintendo's iconic Zelda franchise, which is insane to see their partnership, leading to analysts raising the possibility of further collaboration, though, between the two leading Japanese entertainment companies, which now that would be an interesting one, especially if you guys know the drama and the lore of how the PlayStation 1 even came to be, because they were apparently supposed to make them together. So Sony's strong distribution network and publishing track record could make a strategic move for Nintendo, Jefferies analyst Atol Goel wrote in the client note ahead of the meeting too as well. So very intriguing because the Sony shares did go and drop. They have climbed 32% though for this year, but with these profits being skeptical might be harder. So give me your thoughts and comments down below. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have all the HOW links down below for the Best Buy watches, smart watches, and also all the games. So check those out at your convenience. Hashtag ad and Best Buy partner. We have the Twitter and Twitch room down below in case you guys want to follow. And I appreciate y'all so much for watching here in the first place.